You're watching Living Well Uintah Basin. On Beyond the Couch, Storycorps is in town. Check out and see how Storycorps is helping us tell our tales and record the history we're all making. On Dish by Dish, Jason Webb makes a delicious steak with an Argentine chimichurri sauce. Living Well Uintah Basin, presented by Ashley Regional Medical Center. Also made possible by Warriors Warehouse and Uintah Recreation District. Living Well Beyond the Couch.
I'm the site manager for Storycorps' mobile tour. Our mobile tour, we travel around the country in this Airstream trailer. It has a recording booth in the back there. What people do is you come in to the booth with someone that you know, someone you care about, maybe your mom, your grandma, your neighbor, your brother, your friend, and you sit at this table across from them in the back of the Airstream trailer, and you record a conversation about your lives. It's a 40-minute conversation, and it's about whatever you'd like it to be about, whatever's important to you and what you want to preserve for your legacy. And then when you're done, we'll give you a copy of that recording for free, and you can take that with you, and it's for your own personal history, and you can share it with your family and friends. And then if you would like, you can add it to a collection that we have at the American Folklife Center at the Library of Congress. We've been collecting stories for over 10 years and have this collection of 60,000 plus interviews in that archive. We will be here through July 29th recording stories, and we just want everyone to come make an appointment to come in. It's an hour-long appointment. You can do that by going to our website, which is www.storycorps.org.
It's important for our history and for future generations. So I appreciate the support we have from the community. I know it's a great community. I hope we can just let people in the community know how important it is to come out and tell their stories.
Or we have an 800 number if you like to use that instead. It's 800-850-4406. All you do is you just go and find a time while we're here that works for you. We record Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we do 7 interviews a day, so you can find a time that works for you and your family and just make an appointment. It's an hour long. It's completely free, no cost to you to participate. And also, it's an Airstream trailer, you can see that, so it doesn't seem on first sight that this would be true, but we have a lift that makes it really easy for folks in wheelchairs or who just have a little harder time getting around. Makes it really easy to get inside.
History happens every day. Tomorrow, today's history. My oldest child is 13 also today, and I was talking to her recently about what life was like before Google. That's history, that's important, that's different.
But now we're here in Vernal, which is nice because as we travel the country and we're creating this collection of stories of who we are in America, I think often in the media and in our lives, we hear the stories of people in big cities. We hear the people in LA and New York and Chicago. And here we are in Utah and in Vernal, a much smaller place that I think people don't get to hear those voices very much.
I believe this is a great opportunity to give a flavor of Utah. And again, we're one of 10 this year.
Freedom Fitness would like to thank you for your years of patronage. We at Warriors Warehouse are happy to take over the legacy of Freedom Fitness and will support you for years to come. Stop in today.
Finding a family physician can be time-consuming and frustrating. Ashley Regional Medical Center has a solution. Dr. Matt Bowen. Dr. Bowen is a family practice physician and opened his practice in August of 2014. Dr. Bowen is skilled in all aspects of family medicine, from pediatrics to geriatrics, and can treat you and your family for anything from coughs and flu to high blood pressure. Call 781-1200 for appointments.
Living Well Health and Wellness Tip brought to you by Warriors Warehouse.
So today our tip is on time under tension. So time under tension utilizes two things to increase intensity on the muscle. The first thing is that it's going to increase overall time of the repetition, and the second thing that's going to change is the tempo of the repetition. So when we're talking about tempo, we're talking about 4 different portions of the movement. So there's the concentric portion as your muscle is contracting, the eccentric portion, which is as it's lowering, and then the bottom pause and the top pause part of the movement. The easiest way to start utilizing this principle is to just increase your overall set time or rep time. And so typically your average set is only going to last about 20 seconds. It's a lot shorter than you think. And so what I would do is start there and increase your overall rep to a 60 seconds. So you're going to slow down the movement. You're just going to continue to rep. You're not going to count the reps necessarily, but you're going to just time that set so that your repetitions are going to be slower and you're going to have a longer period of time in the set. The second thing you can do is to change the tempo. So a very popular tempo to use is going to be a 4-0, well actually a 4-1-2-1. And so 4 is going to be 4 seconds on the, we'll start here, 4 seconds on the eccentric portion of the movement, then a 1 second pause and a 2 second on the concentric portion of the movement with a 1 second pause at the top. So sometimes you can intensify that even further by increasing the time on the most difficult portion of the movement, which is the concentric, where your muscle is contracting. Sometimes people will increase that even up to 10 to 20 seconds. And so it's an extremely slow, controlled movement, but it increases the intensity greatly on the muscle and produces better muscle growth.
So come see us at 1060 West Market Drive, Suite 1, right behind McDonald's and Smith.
Living Well, Dish by Dish.
All right, welcome back to Dish by Dish. I'm your host, Jason Webb. Today we're going to go south of the border. Today we're actually going to go all the way down to South America into Argentina. One of the things that I learned down in Argentina, I went there about 20 years ago. While I was down there, we did a barbecue. And during that barbecue, I was able to talk with the guy that was running it. And he said, you know what? You Americans, you cook your steaks wrong. You're a little too hasty with them. You cook them too fast. You don't give them a chance to really absorb the heat and the smoke and the flavor that really is a barbecue. And I do have to agree with him that when I had that steak in Argentina, that was probably the best steak I've ever had. So I'm going to do my little spin on that. We're going to do an Argentine chimichurri sauce, which is a collection of different herbs and spices and a little bit of olive oil and vinegar. It's amazing on a steak, but I'm going to cook the steak in a hasty American style. So it's going to be fast and quick and easy for you to do. So we're going to jump right in. We're going to start with doing the chimichurri sauce because it's the easiest part of this recipe. Basically, you just throw everything in. Got Italian parsley. And you do it's about a cup and a half. The fun thing about this recipe is you can do it however you want, whatever flavors you want. Then you're going to do a little bit of oregano in it. Oh, and you can smell that already. This is really great during the summertime when you've got those gardens at home, when you've got all those herbs and you don't know what to do with them. This is a good way to take care of some of those herbs. All right, so we got that oregano. And then we do it's about a quarter tablespoon or a quarter teaspoon of salt in there. Half teaspoon of ground red pepper flakes. Then you've got about 2 or 3 cloves of garlic that you can either mash up or you can put them in whole into your food processor, whatever's easiest for you to do. Red wine vinegar, this is about a quarter cup. And then pepper to taste. I usually like a lot of pepper, but there's going to be some on the steak as well, so you don't have to put a whole lot in here. And then olive oil is just going to give it that lightness. So it all depends on how much you want to put in. So we're going to blend that up. And if we need to get it a little bit thinner out, we're going to add some more olive oil to it. you're gonna set that aside when you get it all mixed up. And the best thing to do is let it sit for 24, even 48 hours. And what you're gonna end up with is a beautiful green oil like that. And that'll go over the steak. And we'll go ahead and warm up our steak and get that cooking. All right, so now we've moved on to the American steak for the Argentine sauce. What we're doing today is we've got a hot pan with some olive oil in it. You want to pick a nice neutral oil. I wouldn't suggest doing like coconut oil or anything like that, which would be healthier, but it adds that coconutty flavor that's not all the best. So you want some neutral oil. So I've got it really hot, as you can see the smoke coming off of it. And then I've salted and peppered these steaks liberally. Rub it in. And then you're gonna lay these steaks in and you're gonna lay them away from you. This nice hot pan is gonna help us to cook. And depending on how you want your meat, it's gonna depend on how long you keep it in. Once you get those steaks in there, you're gonna throw in some butter. You start off with the olive oil and then throw the butter in, and then that way it doesn't burn. And then you can throw in other seasonings to help with that flavor. This is oregano. You just throw the whole sprig in, because it's going to flavor the oil, which will infuse into that meat. And then you're going to tip your pan up, and you're going to let the oil do the cooking for you. And then you can brush your oregano, you can do garlic. You're going to brush that on your meat, and that's going to infuse the meat with that flavor. You got about 30 seconds on one side, flip it over. You can see how brown that's turned out already on that one side. And depending on how long you want to cook it for will depend on, if you want it medium, you want it well, will be how long you cook it for. If you want to go for like a good medium, that's only going to be about a minute on each side. As you can tell that the oil is starting to stop bubbling quite as much, so we're getting cooked through, getting that moisture a little bit. By cooking them this way, you also render out a little bit of that fat, and that fat equals flavor. So what I like to do is hold it up and sear those sides. And that's going to sear the fat a little bit. It's going to render out into the oil and the butter that you've had and that oregano. Oh, the smells are awesome. You can smell that oregano. You can smell the butter rendering down and the steak on top of that. Oh, absolutely amazing flavors and smells. All right, so these are almost finished. Now I like mine a little bit more on the rare side. So if you want them to go a little bit longer, feel free to do that, but you don't want them to scald, whatever you do. All right, so our steaks were done for just another 30 seconds or so, and we're gonna go ahead and plate them. The smells are amazing. And just goes right on the top. Do as little or as much as you want. I really love the stuff, so I like to drench mine. You can really taste the garlic and the oregano. And that olive oil just gives it a nice smooth texture. Absolutely amazing. Reminds me of Argentina with a little bit of American twist with that hasty cooking of the steak. So thanks a lot for joining us on this episode of Dish by Dish, and we'll see you next time. Remember to always tip your server, and that includes your pizza boy.
Be sure to like us on Facebook for updates on VTV Channel 6 programming. Don't forget, you can watch current and previous episodes of Living Well on demand at vtvchannel6.com. And while you're there, be sure to send us an idea for an upcoming episode. If you enjoy Living Well Uintah Basin, please take the opportunity to reach out and thank the local, community-minded businesses that make it possible. Ashley Regional Medical Center, Warriors Warehouse, and Uintah Recreation District. Until next time, live well and stay healthy, Uintah Basin.